The federal government starts the week in a partial shutdown. And in sports, Ohio men's basketball got a big road win over the weekend. What it means for the rest of the season, Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Serenity Prophet. Welcome to Newswatch. Athens City Administration is racing against the clock to help the Athens 317 Board approve a zoning to change to the aid construction of rehabilitation housing in the Ridges. The proposal will get its first look in committee tonight. Joining us with more of the story is reporter Charlie Ehlenfeld.
Thanks, Serenity. The 317 board presented Athens with the situation. 1 month to approve a zoning change that could bring $2 million in a state grant and housing for 15 at-risk Athens residents. As it stands, the land the 317 board intends to develop for housing is zoned for education. The group needs to have the land zoning to allow them to apply for funding. The only problem, the 30-day public comment period. The 317 board's funding deadline is March 12th, and the clock starts at this Athens City Council meeting. Previous proposals for multifamily zoning have run into issues in the past, something Safety Service Director Andy Stone brought up to David Mott, the lawyer representing the 317 board. However, Mott pointed out the proposal got a ringing endorsement from the Athens Mayor, Steve Patterson. Councilmember Alan Swink also recommended the council take up the recommendation to accelerate the timeline. Athens will consider 3 zoning proposals tonight, and if the 317 board's proposal advances, it will be a part of the later regular session. Reporting live in Athens, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld.
Thanks, Charlie. Taking a look at our local weather, there were a few snowflakes out there today, and are we looking to get any more snow soon?
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, we are looking at getting a decent amount of snow overnight and especially into tomorrow morning and during the day. And that's why we have this winter weather advisory pretty much covering all of southern Ohio. And that's really just going to last from about 7 a.m. tomorrow morning to 10 p.m. tomorrow night. So morning commute, evening commute, everything in between. Give yourself a little bit extra time heading out the door tomorrow. As for right now, we're still looking at overcast skies, and honestly, it feels like we're dealing with a heat wave after the past few days because we're up to 28 degrees. And then as we look at the rest of Ohio, that's pretty uniform, 24 in Zanesville, 22 in Newark. And as we go into the overnight hours, it's not going to get quite as cold or nearly as cold as it got last night, where we got down into the negatives because we have these clouds to help insulate our ground, so that's going to help keep some of the heat in. So we'll only dip down to 23 tonight. And then if we look at tomorrow, we again break freezing for the first time in what feels like forever. But again, we do have that 70% chance of snow. So that's what's going to be affecting us tomorrow. And again, that overnight low tomorrow of 12 degrees. So we get 1 day of warmer weather, and then we're going to drop it right back down overnight tomorrow. So really give yourself a few extra minutes heading out the door tomorrow or whatever you're doing, because it could be a little interesting with a lot of winter weather coming back into our region. So that's just going to be affecting us for the long term, as we're going to have about 1 to 3 inches, but stay tuned for my full forecast.
Thanks, Steve. Huntington Local Schools is closed today after receiving a bomb threat. The Ross County Sheriff's Office reported the threat early this morning. Deputies arrived at the scene at about 5 a.m. with candy units. In a social media post at 10:30, Huntington Local Schools announced that the campus has been cleared and classes will resume tomorrow. This is the second bomb threat since January 13th, when a bomb threat was received at Huntington High School, prompting an early dismissal. Newly unsealed documents are shedding light on the December murders of Spencer and Monique Tampy. Monique's ex-husband, 39-year-old Michael McKee, is charged with multiple counts of aggravated murder and 1 account of aggravated burglary. In an after-day report that Monique told her friends and family that McKee was abusive and threatened to kill her during and after their marriage of less than 2 years. According to another witness, McKee said he could kill Monique and that she will always be his wife. If convicted, he faces life in prison with possibility of parole. The body of a missing Indiana teenager has been found in Perry County. Authorities confirmed today that 17-year-old Haley Busby from Fisher, Indiana, was recovered in Perry County yesterday. Police say 39-year-old Tyler Thomas from Columbus is in custody and allegedly directed authorities to Busby's remains. He is facing charges including pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor and tampering with evidence. Hundreds of people gathered at a church in Springfield to show support for the thousands of Haitian residents who face deportation. The deportation fears follow President Trump's order to end temporary protection services for the nation of Haiti. The event was hosted by G92, a group of Springfield faith leaders and advocates who came together last May to protect the Haitian community. During the event, speakers talked about the impact of thousands of Haitians living in Springfield and what would happen if they left. Coming up, U.S. government is facing another partial shutdown. And if you're not happy with Puxatawny's Phil's forecast, you aren't alone. How you can beat the 6 more weeks of winter blues.
Just as we've begun digging out from that last snowstorm, we have another batch of snow heading our way. Find out when it gets here.
Enslaved people like Harriet Tubman were the original abolitionists.
She was very to the point. My name is Harriet Tubman. I'm here to take you to freedom. You need to follow me, and we need to move right now.
She is someone who saw herself as having a purpose and who was on earth to deliver on that purpose.
Harriet Tubman, Visions of Freedom.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
In this episode, basketball superstars Chris Paul and Brittany Griner uncovered their roots. So you just read the names of your 5th great-grandparents. Dang. What do you think that was like for Marie, finally to get her freedom?
That's a story I can be proud of. If you was to make this into a feature film, you would look at it like that's not true.
Did you think we'd get back this far this quickly?
Honestly, I'm shook right now.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB. Now streaming on the PBS app, the definitive collection from Emmy-winning scholar Henry Louis Gates Jr. From full seasons of Finding Your Roots.
These are your immigrant ancestors.
Oh my goodness.
To acclaimed documentaries.
Black Americans created a world behind the veil.
Discover the incredible history that connects us all. Stream the Henry Louis Gates Jr. collection now with Passport on the PBS app.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
The U.S. government is still in a partial shutdown. The Senate reached an agreement on the funding bill just hours before the Friday deadline. The deal, however, isn't official until tomorrow's House. John Lornick reports.
The U.S. starts a new week without Washington, D.C. running at full throttle.
The question mark over a government shutdown is certainly a big one and a political problem, really for both parties, but certainly for Republicans right now, as the polling is showing a great deal more pressure on them.
On Tuesday, the House is expected to vote on the funding package that passed through the Senate last week.
Because of the conversation I had with Hakeem Jeffries, I know that we've got to pass a rule and probably do this mostly on our own. I think that's very unfortunate.
The legislation backs most government agencies through much of the year, except the Department of Homeland Security, which will only get funded for 2 weeks while lawmakers work to reform DHS's immigration operations.
Body cameras should be mandatory. Masks should come off. Judicial warrants should absolutely be required, consistent with the Constitution in our view, before DHS agents or ICE agents are breaking into the homes of the American people or ripping people out of their cars.
This partial government shutdown is expected to last until at least Tuesday, while Washington, D.C. tries to come to some sort of agreement.
So I think it's all of our responsibilities to reopen the government.
I'm not just a no, I'm a firm no, and I'm going to advocate with colleagues that they vote no.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics is saying it will not release the January job report and the labor market data because of the partial federal government shutdown. Officials say the agency has suspended the collection, processing, and releasing of labor market data until funding is restored. The government partially shut down January 31st after lawmakers failed to reach a funding agreement tied to disputes over Homeland Security policy. Beyond missing data, the shutdown is also impacting more than 500,000 federal workers who could be working without pay. Rare earths are used in everyday technologies such as smartphones, medical equipment, and military systems. Deals and discussions with the Congo, Ukraine, and most recently Greenland have involved these valuable resources. Michael Yoshida has more on how these rare earths impact our daily lives.
From Ukraine.
They have very valuable rare earth.
To Greenland.
They're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we.
Even Venezuela.
You have minerals, right? All the critical minerals.
A recent theme has emerged in American diplomacy.
The start of the Trump administration really marked a new chapter of foreign policy. Minerals diplomacy became synonymous with foreign policy.
Rare earths are a specific set of metals and minerals which aren't all that rare, but they are difficult and expensive to mine and transform into something that can be used in production. Vital to the U.S. economy and national security, they're in things like smartphones, batteries, medical equipment, and even some cancer treatments. Also fighter jets, submarines, satellites, missiles, and more.
Every facet of our national, economic, and energy security is reliant on those rare earths.
Right now, China controls about 90% of the world's supply of refined or usable rare earths, a pipeline China spent years building up.
The question is, will the U.S. do the same?
Over the last year, the U.S. has signed rare earth and minerals deals with countries around the world. But finding supply is only one step. Creating the infrastructure to do something with those rare earths is the other.
Can Trump go like Xi Jinping does on a regular basis to American companies and say, will you invest these huge sums of money into something that we don't know will be profitable for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years?
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
If you're not happy with Punxsutawney Phil's prediction of 6 more weeks of winter, you're not alone. Many people feel a significant shift in their mood and motivation during winter months. Mandy Gaither has more on how to beat the 6 more weeks of winter blues.
They do more than just predict the weather. Groundhogs whistle when alarmed. They're the largest member of the squirrel family, have a constant need to gnaw, and if you hide out to survive harsh winters, you have more in common with these guys than you may realize.
As humans, we're animals too, so we can be vulnerable to hibernation, and some people are just much more vulnerable.
Clinical psychologist Craig Sawchuk with Mayo Clinic says when it's dark and cold outside, it's not uncommon for people to feel the winter blues. Symptoms may include wanting to sleep more, a drop in energy, feeling sad or down, having heavy limbs, and craving carbohydrates, which may lead to weight gain.
And then the spring and summer months, we get back to our usual baseline.
Whether feels right or not, you can beat the blues before spring is sprung. First, Sawchuk says lifestyle factors like exercising, staying connected, and maintaining a regular sleep schedule while avoiding oversleeping can all help. So can light therapy. He says using a light box can improve your mood. There's also cognitive behavioral therapy and medication management.
When those symptoms start to become more prominent, they start to cause problems in day-to-day living, then that's when we look at a difference between just having winter blues versus actually being a problem of clinical concern.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
I don't know, 6 more weeks of winter, what do you think?
You know, as much as I'd really love to say we're turning the corner, I don't really think so. I mean, we dealt with that winter storm, and now we have more snow on the way, and it just really doesn't seem like we're going to warm up anytime soon. So if we take a look at the countrywide temperature map, we can really see there's a lot of cold air being pulled down from Canada. I mean, really, those purples and those blues really signifies those temperatures dropping into the teens or low 20s, and that's really what we're going to be continuing to see. So unfortunately, it looks like Punxsutawney Phil is kind of right. And now, with all these cold temperatures and this snow that we've been dealing with, or are going to be dealing with, we have a winter weather advisory, and it kind of just lines all of southern Ohio, everyone's going to be dealing with it, and it's going to come in the early morning hours of tomorrow. But definitely we're going to be expecting some slick roadways, some slick walkways, so be prepared for that. If we're taking a look more local at the temperature map, we're still staying in the high 20s. So again, a pretty nice warm up as what we were dealing with last week when we were in the single digits, or even this morning when it hadn't warmed up yet. Now, if we take a look at the radar right now, we're just kind of getting some pop-up snow showers right now, but they're not really affecting us too much. The majority of the snow that we're going to be dealing with is going to be pulling in from the west, and that's what we're mostly going to be concerned with. As we can see, it's right in the Midwest right now, kind of dropping down from up in Canada, and it's this high-pressure system that's allowing this to rotate and pull all of this cold air down, and that's just going to be what's fueling these storms. And we can see here, it's going to be associated with a cold front. So not only are we going to be dealing with more snow, but again, this brief warm-up isn't going to last very long. And now tomorrow morning is when it's going to hit. We can see this cold front pushing in into our region, and that's really just going to set up shop, again, mostly over southern Ohio, and that's going to give us about 1 to 3 inches of snow. And it's not just going to be snow, it's going to be a little bit of ice again too. So again, if you're heading out the door, it's going to affect your morning commute tomorrow, your lunchtime commute, your evening commute. So no matter what time you head out the door, it is going to be impacting you. And then tomorrow, we still see those remnants by tomorrow night, really not getting out of the way much. And then we can kind of start to see it push off to the east. And that's when we're going to start to see a little bit of relief, but we do have to get through a majority of tomorrow until this high pressure system really starts to set up shop and really start to change all of that snow more into like a mixed precipitation. So we're not going to get a lot of snow, but it is going to be bothersome, especially tomorrow. And then by this time, 2 days from now, we're going to have this high pressure really start to dominate our region and really start to clear out our area. So it's really just 2 more days until we start to get to the end of a lot of this snow. But as for tonight, we have these clouds that are going to keep our overnight low, not anything like they were yesterday with an overnight low in the negatives. Right now we're going to be at about 23. Tomorrow we warm up a bit, but again, we have that snow coming into our region. And then it kind of seems like Punxsutawney Phil, again, is going to be right because this is our 8 to 10 day temperature outlook, and that is unfortunately below average. And we are really just going to be dealing with a lot of cold temperatures. Those overnight lows are going to be dropping into the single digits once we get past Thursday. So really, we are going to be seeing this winter-like weather for a very long time. And it really doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing spring anytime soon because we really don't get that much sunshine either. I mean, the best we get is a partly sunny sky, mostly cloudy on Thursday, and again, a chance of snow on Friday. So stay tuned for that.
Thanks, Steve. A record-breaking winter storm dumped snow across much of the U.S., and many civilians are feeling the effects. Leah Waldman has more on the wintry aftermath.
There is a shadow here on my ground.
The most famous rodent weather prognosticator is calling for 6 more weeks of winter, an unwelcome sign for the millions still reeling from this weekend's bomb cyclone. And North Carolina residents are working to clear the snow after some cities experienced the heaviest snowfall in decades.
If they get 7 to 8 inches, that's going to be more than we've ever seen, I believe.
Video captures the moment a train hit a semi-cab after it got stuck on snow-covered railroad tracks in Gastonia. No one was hurt. The record-breaking snowstorm caused more than 1,000 crashes, including 2 fatalities and a traffic jam involving more than 100 vehicles, according to North Carolina's Governor Josh Stein. Thousands of people across multiple states are without power as temperatures fell, including in Tennessee, where some people in Nashville are still without power from the previous winter storm.
There should not be people dying in their homes that are freezing to death.
The Nashville Electric Service does not expect full power restoration to happen until next Monday. In Florida, cold-stunned iguanas are falling from trees in record-low temperatures across the state.
This is easily 100 pounds of iguanas.
Meanwhile, in the skies, the storm caused flight disruptions. More than 1,100 U.S. flights were canceled on Sunday, according to FlightAware. Nearly 2,500 were canceled on Saturday during the peak of the storm. Warm temperatures throughout the week should help melt the lingering ice and snow. I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Next in sports, we're talking Ohio basketball as both the men and women gear up for the final regular season push.
On Masterpiece.
Jimmy's made you a lovely egg.
Ooh.
He's been a wonderful helper. Thank goodness you're here, Mr. Farnan. We are beside ourselves.
Don't worry, I've got a special rapport with birds.
I don't think you realise how bad it actually is. How much business we've lost. They need an attending vet urgently.
An unlicensed track. I want nothing to do with it.
All creatures, great and small, on Masterpiece.
Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
In the spring of 1971, there was so much that was altered.
The new rules will be phased in from this year.
There was rage.
We know our rights.
And there was love.
You have a little girl.
And we marched together.
Quite something, isn't it, sister?
It is the future.
Make way for the Queen. The people love me.
This is not your request.
Yes, Your Majesty. What is it you want?
Would you indulge me?
Quite something, isn't it, sister?
Scandalous, isn't it?
Have I got a story for you?
I want it all so much more. You are really good at this.
I'm just getting started.
Happy Monday and welcome into sports. I'm Andrew Ruby. We're starting tonight with Ohio men's basketball after the Bobcats got a big bounce back win on Saturday against Buffalo. Heading into that game, Ohio had lost 4 of 5 and really slipped up, but they bounced back in a big way. Led by a pair of double-doubles from Javen Simmons and Jackson Paveletzky, the Bobcats got a much-needed 95-83 win. Simmons had a career-high 24 points along with his 13 rebounds, and Paveletzky scored 16 plus 11 assists and 4 boards. As a team, Ohio turned the ball over just 6 times, marking a new season low. And another positive to take away from this game was Ohio's ability to get a win on the road. The Bobcats have really struggled in big road games with losses to Toledo, Kent, and Ball State this season, but a complete performance against Buffalo should give them some confidence and some momentum heading into the rest of MAC play. And you see what's coming next. They'll face Western Michigan tomorrow and then Old Dominion on Saturday in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. But after that, things ramp right back up in MAC play. With 6 big games remaining, Ohio still has a home-and-home with Miami, plus a rematch with Toledo in the Convo. So about 2/3 of the way through the conference schedule, Ohio is sitting in 5th in the MAC, and they're still 3 games ahead of the cut line for the MAC tournament, but that does not mean they have a guaranteed path back to Cleveland in mid-March. Their schedule is tough for Ohio, and you see where they can sit in the standings. As I mentioned, they still have a home-and-home with one of the best teams in the country against Miami. Another meeting with Toledo. They'll also play UMass right as the regular season ends. And as for tomorrow's game, it's a real opportunity to get a win as they'll face the last-place Broncos. Let's go over to women's basketball, and the Bobcats suffered a tough 90-70 loss to rival conference-leading Miami on Saturday, but they played a great first quarter in that game. They led 28-21 after just 10 minutes of play. And the Bobcats had made 5 triples in that first quarter, but after that, Miami really took control, outscoring Ohio 27-11 in the second. Miami also moved the ball better. They out-rebounded at Ohio en route to that 20-point victory. Bobcats made a second-half push, but they just didn't have enough to keep up with the Redhawks, and they dropped a 3rd straight game. The women's team is in a very similar situation to the men, sitting in the middle of the pack and a few games ahead of the conference tournament cut line. The Bobcats sit at 6th right now, but the gap they have between those teams chasing them, that helps them keep their spot in the tournament for now. But with 8 games left on the schedule, they're going to have to get going if they want to remain one of the top 8 teams and make a return to Cleveland. The women will play the exact same schedule as the men this week, taking on Western Michigan Wednesday night, and then they'll face Old Dominion on Saturday at home. Finally tonight in sports, a look at the TVC high school schedule. 2 girls games on the slate tonight. The Lady Buckeyes will be at Fred Hawk looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. And out at Wellston, the Golden Rockets will host the 14-3 Lady Bulldogs. That's all we've got for sports tonight. Let's send it back to Serenity.
Still ahead, last night marked the 68th annual Grammy Award celebration with lots of big names and awards on the music's biggest stage.
PFAS, also known as forever chemicals.
So if they're forever, how do we address them?
That current law did not allow EPA to do bans or restrictions of chemicals unless there was enormous evidence.
These are major employers within these communities.
Who should be held accountable is basically a finger-pointing game between the chemical industry, the carpet industry, and others.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Feel the wonder wherever we are.
It was kind of a moment of enlightenment.
So come get lost with me. We'll see the great unknown.
It's home to me. Wow, that's beautiful.
We could be the greatest story ever told.
When we all work together, we make change. I still believe in that.
I'm excited. You my hero, you know that, right?
Thank you.
Most people believe that doctors are healers.
Love is why we're here.
Life goes fast,
Our story is everyone's story.
but it's just the start.
CasualWorks was not designed, created, or maintained by people who studied disability. They're people who studied opportunity. If a person has very limited movement and can make little teeny circles, there's a place for you. The idea of workers contorting themselves to a job is one business model. Our business model is that the job responds to the worker.
The 6th Annual Grammy Award featured powerful performances preaching on politics and some of the big names taking home equally big awards. Bad Bunny took home 3 awards, including the night's top award, Album of the Year.
I'm going to say Eyes Out. We don't hate them. We love our people. We love our family. And that's the way to do it, with love.
Immigration was also on the minds of Song of the Year winner Billie Eilish and Phineas, and Best New Artist winner Olivia Dean. Kendrick Lamar also cemented himself as the most awarded rapper in Grammy history, and director Steven Spielberg achieved EGOT status, taking home a Grammy for Best Music Film. Yeah.
Well, we just saw Bad Bunny on there. I'm excited for the Super Bowl, obviously, this weekend. And the halftime show, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. So am I. I mean, really starting to feel like football weather out there, too, especially with all this cold snow we're getting. So it's really going to kind of continue that way. So it'll be a really nice way to, wrap up and get to, the end of this week. It'll be a nice cap off to all this winter weather we've been dealing with, as we have a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we'll pop that right back up. As for tonight, we're not going to have those mostly cloudy skies. We're going to have an overnight low of 23 degrees. And then as we look at the rest of this week, we kind of stay about the same with a slight drop off in temperature until we get to Friday, where we have another chance of snow in the area. But those overnight lows are really what's going to be making it feel extra cold out there, with an overnight low of 6 on Saturday. And then for Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, pretty pleasant day, 30 degrees, not much happening. But again, that overnight low of 10 degrees is really what's going to be the kicker. And then as we start the work week next week, we're going to be breaking freezing for the first time in about a week at that point. So it's something to look forward to.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Andrew and Steve, I'm Serenity Prophet. And stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.